When you actually are a threat to the system hits back. And the system will throw the kitchen sink at you. It will go to any extent to silence you because you are a threat to it and it is scared of what the ideas you bring in. Even if I hadn't said those things or written those things and I said other things, they would also be manipulated, distorted, and utilized against me. This is more of an intentional concoction rather than a wrong step or in some way a mistake on mine. They're trying to create an attitude and an atmosphere of fear, but in actuality, they are the ones. The power structure is the one that is afraid. In a system that is built on inequality, capitalism, Brahmanism, patriarchy, linguistic inequality, Hindutva, and various forms of inequality that is deeply enmeshed in our society, I always knew that equalitarianism through justice and rationality in a non-violent pattern would be a very strong transformative vision. And I always knew that this would be a threat to the power structure. When the powerful lobbies realized that our ideas are spreading, they started becoming threatened. They've jailed me. They've created false cases against me. They've done a lot of things, but we haven't been silenced. It's not just the right wing only. It's the Hindutva as well as the kind of status quo kind of system of power that we question, because we're not anti-BJP, we're anti the system of inequality. The opposition parties either, if they do flaws, if they maintain the status quo, if they do corruption, we'll question that. If somebody does something questionable, there should be punitive action accordingly. But if there's nothing that is truly questionable, and there's just the attempt to silence or in another way defeat them without in an undemocratic way, these things are concocted. And it's ironic that it was sent on Ambedkar Jayanti, who we believe is the greatest 20th century icon, who believes in an India for everybody equally and justly. We are Ambedkarites, Periyarists, Baswaites, Phuleites, Kuempuites, not by chance, by birth. We follow this ideology by choice. We will make an immediate fight in the High Court of Karnataka. We want a writ petition, a stay order. I want to stay in Karnataka. I have no interest to go to America. My commitment is to the people of Karnataka and the people of India.
Welcome to the News Minute. This is Samrah Attar, and joining me today is Kannada actor Chetan Kumar, who is a fierce critic of Hindutva and right wing politics. Chetan has faced legal action on his questions regarding Hindutva and Brahmanism, and recently on 14th April, he received a letter from the union government which said that his overseas citizenship card has been cancelled. Chetan, the notice said that the your card was cancelled because of unlawful activities and for criticizing a judge. So how do you react to this?
Actually, the subject says that it's been cancelled because of anti-Indian activities, which is which is ironic because of many reasons. Number one, it came on Baba Sahib Jayanti, April 14th. We all espouse the ideas of Ambedkarism, Periyarism, and equalitarianism through justice and rationality. That's what I've been spreading for about 18 years. I've been in Karnataka, and 12, 13 years I've been in the activist movement. And in this system, what has happened is anybody who articulates justice for those on the bottom of the totem pole, for those who are socially, economically, linguistically, and in terms of land, in terms of dignity, all types disenfranchised and marginalized, they become portrayal as anti-Indian activities, which is ironic and which is unfortunate, because the ones who are really upholding the very foundation of our constitution in terms of equality, justice, secularism, and socialism is our Ambedkarite, Periyarist, equalitarian thinking. All the political parties in the mainstream today in Karnataka and across the nation are using the constitution for their own political kind of relevance and their political benefit. We are upholding the true spirit and idea of the nation, and we have never done anything unlawful. We have never done anything that is illegal. These are all baseless, fabricated, concocted allegations that have none of them been proven. I've not been convicted of anything, and I've been. It's an attempt by the powers that be and the forces that control our society and the narrative today through the institutions of power to silence voices and create an atmosphere of fear. Interestingly, Samara, I say that they're trying to create an attitude and an atmosphere of fear, by saying people who speak like me and like a lot of us, thousands, lakhs of us in Karnataka, have to be silent. But in actuality, they are the ones, the power structure is the one that is afraid. They're afraid that our ideas are transformative. They're afraid that our ideas are reaching the people, and they're afraid that our ideas can be a strong alternative through to the system of injustice and inequality that is pervasive in India and in Karnataka today. And we're not anti-Indian. We are the real Deshabhaks. We are the true ones upholding the Constitution and the equalitarianism that our nation stands for. So this is fabricated to basically silence and basically make me stop talking. But we know that equality and Ambedkarism is the truth, and we will continue to articulate in the future.
And when did you receive the first notice, and what was your reply to it?
About 10 months ago, I got a notice from the Home Ministry saying that your visa in India, since I'm born and raised in America and I'm here on an Overseas Citizenship of India (OCI), which gives me since 2018 all the rights of an Indian citizen except voting rights, except standing for election, and except holding government office. Which besides that, I have all the other rights. I of course have an Aadhaar card, I have a PAN card. I've been paying my taxes for 15, 16 years. Whenever I've been here, I've been in every way as an Indian would. I am living in my own home, married to an Indian citizen. But they have said about 10 months back, the Home Ministry has sent me a notice saying that yeah, your visa is at risk of being canceled. Give us reasons why it shouldn't be. So I gave them lengthy 5 to 6 page lengthy explanation. I gave them about 25, 30 large scale photographs of my work. Gave them a whole talked about my work in cinema for over a decade and about 10 films. Talked about where crores have been invested on me even to now. Talked about social work, activism, and also my connections to Karnataka, family connections, how my parents are here, my parents are here, my grandparents and my family, and a lot of things emotionally and professionally, and always I gave an explanation. But I didn't hear back anything for 10 months. On April 14th, Ambedkar Jayanti, I get a notice in the morning from the Home Ministry that says, due to uh, lack of explanation and unsatisfactory remarks, and they claimed everything I said. They basically canceled my OCI and my visa the immediate effect, and they give me 15 days to hand over the card. And they're claiming this is all because of anti-Indian activities, which is baseless and is all concocted. So this is the progression. This is not something that started just yesterday or 1 year back, 10 months back. This is something that the powers that be, the lobbies that be, it's not just the right wing only. It's the Hindutva as well as the kind of status quo kind of system of power that we question, because we're not anti BJP, we're the anti the system of inequality. So in that way, the system hits back. And the system wants what is the system wants to preserve? It wants to preserve the power having more access to power, and the powerless being different degrees of powerlessness, which we want transformative change against that. So they want to preserve their status quo and the benefits of the elites. So they hit back, and they've been trying to. They've jailed me. They've created false cases against me. They've done a lot of things, but we haven't been silenced. So this is their last attempt at trying to completely hush anybody who speaks in a equalitarian way. And it's ironic that it was sent on Ambedkar Jayanti, who we believe is the greatest 20th century icon, who believes in an India for everybody equally and justly.
And you said that the notice came after your remark on Brahmanism, which was in June last year. So why do you think this was what caused this notice?
See, we have been fighting series of protests in terms of the benefit of society. My first fight was in 2011, anti-corruption movement. I got involved. Then we fought for endosulfan victims' rights, where we got 90 crores. We've given 528 homes for Adivasis in the Delhi Horara. We fought against privatization of the government agricultural colleges, which we won. We fought for rights of Me Too victims and against Me Too in the cinema industry. We have consistently fought for socially beneficial equalitarian ideas in terms of caste, class, gender, region, language, all types of things. But when the government, the power structure, when the powerful lobbies realized that our ideas are spreading, our ideas, there's a lot of credibility with what we're saying, where we back our ideas with reason, rationality, and facts and figures, and we don't give up until justice is served. They started becoming threatened when in 2021, about 2 years back, I spoke out against an institutional scourge that is Brahminism. This is, of course, not against uh, a Brahmin community, because any caste, or we're not against any caste or any gender or any community. We are against a system, and Brahminism is a system where certain people, because of birth, are in positions of privilege and higher status, and certain are inferior status on the basis of birth. That's a Brahminical system, and it's a mindset. So I fought against. I spoke about Brahminism, which then merited 295A, and I was repeatedly called for inquiry into the police station. Although I wasn't jailed, a lot of the Brahmin caste lobbies, as well as the Hindutva lobbies, VHP and various people, started targeting me on a very active way, and I had never had a case against me for over a decade up till that point. And then the cases in the past 2 years have started piling on. And it seems to be a work backward kind of way. If somebody does something questionable, there should be punitive action accordingly. But if there's nothing that is truly questionable, and there's just the attempt to silence or in another way defeat them without in an undemocratic way, these things are concocted. So after Brahminism, there was the judge case where I wrote a tweet questioning the judge, and that was also done through a lot of police violations. And that I was put in jail for 7 days. That is also brought up in the Home Ministry's notice. And recently, 3 weeks ago, I said Hindutva is built on lies. I gave an example of Savarkar's statement. I gave an example of other things on that, and even Urigoda Nanjegoda, which is a creation of the Karnataka right wing in terms of what who supposedly killed this Tipu, which is very ahistorical and anti-intellectual. And then that was retorted without any kind of ideological response. It was the Bajrang Dal came and they basically filed a case, and I was put in jail again and just judicial custody for 3 days. This was 3 weeks back. So it seems like, especially in the past 2.5 years, and overarchingly for the past 12 years, our activism, our social service, our commitment to an ideal state and nation cannot be defeated in the battleground of ideas by the power structure. They are threatened. They know that our ideology is the true solution to the woes of Karnataka and the nation. So, and we're not selective. We don't support the opposition parties either. If they do flaws, if they maintain the status quo, if they do corruption, we'll question that. We corruption all the wrongs of the system. So since our ideas are spreading in a very strong way, they have concocted these things, fabricated these things, and trying to create an atmosphere of fear. And so I would say in 2 years since Brahmanism and since the anti-Hindutva tweets I've been putting up and anti-system tweets, these have exploded the issue and given them some fodder to do the visa cancellation that they're doing now. But it's even if I hadn't said those things or written those things and I said other things, they would also be manipulated, distorted, and utilized against me to silence the voice. So I hold that this is more of an intentional concoction rather than a wrong step or in some way a mistake on my end.
So, were you expecting this kind of a reaction from the government? Back then, also the VHP wanted you to be your citizenship to be revoked.
I always knew, ever since I was in college and for the past 25 years, I've known that our ideologies in a system that is built on inequality, capitalism, Brahminism, patriarchy, linguistic inequality, Hindutva, and various forms of inequality that is deeply enmeshed in our society. I always knew that equalitarianism through justice and rationality in a non-violent pattern would be a very strong transformative vision. And I always knew that this would be a threat to the power structure. So I've articulated that with an understanding of history, an understanding of facts and reason, rationality, and empirical evidence, but also with the knowledge that we will ruffle some feathers. Now, just because we ruffle feathers doesn't mean what we're saying is false. And we don't want to ruffle feathers with like any kind of vulgarity, any kind of uh, loose talks, any kind of false or misinformation, which we've never done, any kind of breaking of the law or a kind of stretching of the law in any way, doing anything that is not transparent. We don't do. We're completely transparent. We uphold the ethical, moral, economic like values that we must uphold. So on that level, I've always known that we have to be extra careful in what we do because our ideas are so transformative. So I have known that when you actually are a threat to the system, like many people historically have been, and many people in Karnataka that we respect have been, the system hits back. The system hits back, and the system will throw the kitchen sink at you because it knows that it'll try in different ways to silence you, to put you in jail, to put false cases, to remove a gunman, even though I'm getting so many death threats, which the government has done. But it will go to any extent to silence you because you are a threat to it and it is scared of what the ideas you bring in. Remember that ideas are power, and spreading the ideas of transformation through equalitarianism, when the people are convinced with that, when the people believe in that, that is an extraordinary amount of power. Power doesn't necessarily mean being in the Vidhana Sabha or the parliament or having a lot of money or influence or being a cinema celebrity. Ideological clarity and credibility and the people's support is an extraordinary power. So when you have that power and the government knows that you are a threat to them, and the people know that this is an ideological solution for a better future for their kids and grandkids, then the system will hit back. So I see the system doing it, but I also know that human rights. We have human rights benefit, not benefits. We have like laws that protect human rights. We have our own kind of protections that we can use, and we will fight it legally under the basis of the Constitution, under the basis of the law system that we have, and with the people's support to get justice and to stay in Karnataka, which is the land of my foremothers and forefathers and the people of my of I've always come from this land, even though I'm born in the U.S. not by choice but by chance. But by choice, I've come to Karnataka to fight and to serve for 18 years. Baba Sahib Ambedkar says a great life is being a servant of society. I would like to be a servant more. I want to serve even more. And we are Ambedkarites, Periyarists, Baswaites, Puleites, Kuempoites, not by chance, by birth. We follow this ideology by choice. We live this ideology. It's something that we have made as the truth, as the transformation. So it's not something that I am perturbed by. I did find it shocking that I wrote all this documentation and they gave an unsatisfactory explanation as the only thing without going into detail as to why they want to call my actions anti-Indian or like cancel my visa. But I do expect that our ideas, when they're a transformative vision, that the system will hit back, and the powerful lobbies have done that. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready to fight more. We're fighting for all the disadvantage, and when uh, we are treated unjustly, we will also fight to do more good work to stay in the country for our rights as well.
And what will be your next course of action be?
On April 14th, which is yesterday, I got the notice, and I also met with a lawyer who handles a lot of these issues, who is aware of immigration laws and the nuances. So we will fight it. We will make an immediate. I've given 15 days time. We will make an immediate fight in the High Court of Karnataka. We want a writ petition, a stay order. We want. I want to stay in Karnataka. I have no interest to go to America. I haven't been to America in 8 years. I have no purpose in America. I was born and raised there, but my commitment is to the people of Karnataka and the people of India, and I will stay here and fight for equality, and I will use my legal means to have that accomplished to the best of my ability. So we're going to go to the High Court and we're going to get that done at the earliest because this, according to this notice, this visa cancellation is upon immediate effect. So I don't have time, and I'm not here to like wait for 15 days to see what the government is going to do because they have already been undemocratic and they will go to any extent to do when you break the law. Yeah, you could go to any extent to continue breaking the law. So I don't break the law, and I don't intend to do that. I will follow the law and try to get justice to the best of my ability at the earliest.
Thank you so much, Chetan.